single most beneficial thing to a child is a one-on-one relationship with someone who cares. All of us have God-given talents we can share. Donate your time and talents to the Sam's Kids program by tutoring, mentoring, simply spending time, or through a monetary donation. When we keep kids involved, we see improved test scores, decreased dropout rates, happier and healthier, well-adjusted children. Welcome back to Discover Bernie, and we're here with Lori Hauser, one of the coordinators of Sam's Kids. Thank you for joining us today, Lori.
Thank you for having me.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the programs that you guys offer at Sam's Kids?
Sam's Kids is students achieving maximum success. So whatever we need to do to help a child reach their maximum potential is what we'll do.
Now, how do you identify which children need these programs?
There are teacher, counselor teams that identify the students based on financial needs or behavioral needs. A lot of these children may be angry because of their circumstances, and we'll try to identify those children, and between the teachers and the counselors who know them best, they'll be referred, and they'll kind of come up with a plan all together of what would be the best solution for that child.
When they're in the programs, how do their grades fit in with this? Do you work with their grades as well?
We do. They receive tutoring. And when the student stays out of trouble, they're coming home.
Here they come.
When the students stay out of trouble, they don't get any sort of discipline marks during school, and their grades are within the acceptable level for them, they'll get incentives, whatever it takes to encourage these kids. And they'll have to keep their grades up. And when Mr. Champion was in his office every day, he would write them notes and say, I know that you're so much more capable than this. Get those grades up. Or he would go to their house and knock on the door and say, you're not turning in your homework. And we haven't gotten there yet.
Well, when I was a high school principal, I'm not going to tell you that I was a guy for the underdog, but I made sure the kids that didn't have a lot were taken care of. Whether it was done anonymously or through private donations, those kids were always taken care of. And we found kids that were increasingly a population where we call them priority kids. The state calls them at risk. And at risk is such a negative connotation. I didn't like that term, so I wanted to call them a priority student. And so I started to come up with a good acronym that was a positive acronym. So I would lay awake at night thinking, what would be something good that we could use? SAM, my initials for Sam's Kids. And I had all kinds of different acronyms. So students achieving maximum success is what I came up with. So John Seelix with the Imageware helped me come up with this design of my Sam's Kids shirts, and that's what we came up with, and it stuck, and that's what we've been using ever since for the last 3 years.
Could you tell us first, how is Sam doing?
Sam is doing pretty well. He just retired at the end of the month from the school district, and he continues to undergo treatments. And I did witness that he was at the football game this past Friday.
Good.
And he was very happy to be there with everybody from the community.
What actually drew you to work with Sam's Kids?
What drew me to work with Sam's Kids was our president, Lori Hauser. But truthfully, aside from being a friend of hers and trusting that she would be engaged in something that is worthwhile, as I began to learn what Sam's Kids is about, I have a personal relationship to the situation of many of the kids who are helped by the program. I can relate to some of the challenges that they have, and recognize that if it weren't for the recognition by a teacher or a counselor of some of the challenges that I had, I probably wouldn't have the luxury of being where I am today. So I truly can relate to that and want to afford other kids that same advantage.
Can you tell us a little bit about any success stories that have with the children that have been through the program?
By being here every week with them, they know that we care, and they take a lot of pride in what we do. And so they'll come in and say, like, I got elected to student council today.
Great.
Things like that, or I'm on the football team now at the high school. So they stop and tell us. When we first started, it was just elementary.
Right.
That big ones didn't want to stay too much, and now even our high school ones start staying and working with us.
That's great. If you could talk to anyone out there and ask them to come and volunteer, what would you tell them?
That it's a lot of fun. We sit out under these beautiful oaks, and the children are very loving, and they will appreciate it, and they are friendly to everyone.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with some more Discover Birdie. We should all reach for the stars. Invest in your community. Invest in Sam's Kids.